All right. Well, we knew it was going to happen at some point in time or another. But our good friend, Mr. Strap On himself, Mr. Sticky Goose Comics, has decided that he wants to quit YouTube. The title of his video is I'm quitting YouTube, ... I'm done. Now, I started watching maybe the first 3 or 4 minutes of this, and then I said to myself, you know what, LP? You went back and forth with the egg for a while, you know. And then we kind of stopped covering him. We stopped talking about him because he really, there was nothing more that we could say about this dude. And I think him quitting YouTube, quite honestly, and from what I, heard him say in those first few minutes, and we'll listen to it together because I want to watch the rest of it with you. So you can see my facial reactions live as a 2D avatar. But in all seriousness, this YouTube game, it's not for everyone, man. It isn't, And this comic book YouTube game is even worse, right? Because now you're in a very small niche. And it's not a friendly one by any stretch of the means, Everyone's in competition in comics, whether you make comics, sell comics, or you provide comic book content on YouTube. Everyone wants to be the top dog. And it's like, like wrestling, right? It's like the WWE. There's only so many top spots for main eventers. Then you have your mid card and then your rookies, lower card guys, right? And everyone, of course, wants to be the top dog. Sticky Goose wanted to be the top dog. And in fact, when I look at his subscriber count, he may not be the top dog, but for YouTube comic book channels, he certainly made an impact. He's got 13,000, nearly 14,000 subscribers. And I don't know why you would throw that away, unless if it's just too mentally stressful for him. And I can see it because it's gotten to that point for me at various times. Like, there is a reason we don't live stream as much as we used to. Well, there's a few reasons. Number one is it's too much headache, right? Whenever you live stream, you got to deal with trolls in the chat, and it's usually a longer stream and more possibility for arguments, not even with the chat itself, but with the panel members that are on the stream. As soon as one person says one thing that someone else disagrees with, it's fucking World War III, right? So I like doing smaller videos, A, because it saves me time, B, because I can just say what I want to say and move on. I don't have to have a back and forth with 5 or 6 other people that are going to talk over each other. 3 is that it doesn't pay, right? So in YouTube, you get paid by a couple different ways. One of the primary ways is ad revenue, which we do collect. We don't get much of it, but we do get it. The other way you get paid in YouTube, whether it's, through a sponsorship, would be through Super Chat. So you go live and people donate money to you via Super Chat, and YouTube takes 30%. It's a hefty cut. I don't know why anyone would ever Super Chat knowing that the money that you are providing to your YouTuber, they're only getting 2/3 of it, right? There are easier ways to support that personality, that person, by, just donating to a PayPal link directly where they get to keep more than what YouTube would give them. Or you could buy something from their online shops should they happen to have one. Like in my case, if you wanted to support me, I'd rather you not Super Chat and just, buy a copy of Nyobi from my eBay store or back us on Kickstarter, And so when we do live streams and they're 2, 3, sometimes 4 hours and we don't get any Super Chats, monetarily wise, it's not worth it, right? It might be fun to do and hang out with your buddies and shoot the shit and have a few laughs online. But if you don't have very many people watching, and my channel's not a big channel, it's certainly not 14,000 subscribers. We're not even 1,400 subscribers. We're 1,285 subscribers. And out of that, only a very small percentage watch. And out of that, only a small percentage of that percentage will watch us live online for any amount of duration. So when you have and I remember this guy, his name was Testify HD. And he would say, and he's right. If you have more people on your panel than watching your live stream, you might as well shut it down. You know what I mean? Because you're not selling anything to anybody. It's 4 or 5 people watching you, and 2 of them are probably on the panel anyway. So who are you, sort of really talking to? No one wants to sit through a 4-hour ordeal, right? They don't even want to sit through something that's 20 minutes. That's why I like doing like 8 to 12-minute videos. And even then, when I go look at the duration of how long people are actually watching it, no one's really watching these YouTube videos for the full length. They'll skim through it. They'll find the part they want to hear about, and then they're out, and they don't even subscribe, So doing long live streams is kind of a waste of time. What I like to do is, I'll still do the live streams, but, as you've seen, they're going to be sporadic and they're going to be far apart. Like our next live stream isn't going to be for another 2 weeks, right? When I go live again on YouTube, it's going to be for a purpose, not just to shit, to play around and not make any money. It's going to be to sell, to shill, to provide you with information on how you can get Nyobi comics and whatever other products, like t-shirts, mugs, and stuff that we have in our spring store, how to get that to you. Okay. And so I would ask you that at the end of the video, you stay tuned, watch the end for a word from our sponsor so that you are able to get these cool things, In regards to StickyGoose, I think he was a clout goblin. I think he wanted fame and fortune. I think he wanted to be the next Comic Tom 101, Comic Tom. And he's not. He's not Gem Mint Collectibles. He's not Comics Explained. He's not Comic Tropes. Fuck, he's not even me. You know what I mean? And so you look on his wall. He's got these CGC like this is a guy who's going to get out of comics completely. That's my prediction on StickyGoose, right? I think not only is he going to stop comic book YouTube, I think he's, like most people I see in this hobby right now, looking at how to liquidate their collections to get some sort of return before these things become completely worthless. Now, there are always going to be books that are going to be worth money. Don't get me wrong, right? If you look on the back wall there, you can see a Spider-Man 300. That's always going to be worth a few bucks. You got the Catwoman 51 up there. That's always going to be worth a couple $100, maybe if you're lucky. He's got some key issues, some Silver Age, some Golden. I don't know if he's got any Golden Age. He might have a Golden Age Batman or something back there, but he's got a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back there. I don't know if that's the first printing. I'm going to assume that it is. That's a pricey book, But the problem with these books, even the valuable ones, seem to be going down in price, right? And he's the guy that bought high during COVID, and then all the prices dropped after COVID. So, he might have bought in a book, say book whatever, right? Insert name here. Let's say it's a big boy book, and he paid like $2,000 for it or something, And the book is now worth $1,300, and he can't even sell it for that. He's got to have to sell it for $1,000. Well, he's lost 50% of the investment that he put into said book, And so I think, including myself, I got 15 long boxes that aren't even like Nyobi. They're just things from my personal collection, things I've collected since 2008. And I've been into comics a lot longer than that, but I had sold off my first collection for pennies on the dollar, and I don't want to do that again, but I do want to sell some of it off for fair market value, right? I want to get what the books are currently worth, get it while I can, and put that money, quite honestly, towards my own book and my own endeavors and, whatever I need it for. Because the truth of the matter is, we don't own anything, right? This cup of tea in front of me, right? This mug, I don't own that. When I die off, this mug goes to someone else, When I die off, anything that's left here in this house under my name, will become someone else's property in some fashion or another, right? So we don't actually own anything. We sort of rent it and we get to enjoy it while we're on this earth, but it certainly doesn't come to the grave with us, and if there is an afterlife, and God hope willing that there is, these products don't come there with us either, So, all these comic books wrapped in plastic, yeah, you get to look at them on the wall. You get a feeling of importance because you got these big boy books, and maybe you got some sort of weird status in the comic book world. But at the end of the day, none of this means shit. None of it. So you might as well enjoy your life and get what you can from this. And if you got thousands and thousands of dollars wrapped up in these comic books, essentially what you got is thousands and thousands of dollars wrapped up in paper and ink, right? And if I was to sell off my entire collection and actually get a fair, decent price for it, fuck, man, I can go buy myself a brand new vehicle. You know what I mean? Get far more enjoyment driving a four-wheel Jeep than I will looking at Lois Lane as a 7.0 on my wall. But I blabbed on long enough. Let's see what he says. We don't do this often where I just EFAP a video like this. But because we had covered Sticky Goose so much, and this is truly the end, I feel, one more time, Rick, right? So we're going to let this rock and roll. And, we may pause it here and there, give our 2 cents, and then we'll wrap it up at the end. Always wrap it up if you don't want unexpected surprises, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So, here we go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back for the final time. I'm quitting YouTube. Sticky Goose is done. I am not doing this anymore. This is something I've wanted to do for a while now, but I have continued to make videos and do this, and I think I'm just at the point now where I'm just done. As far as what I've done on YouTube, I'm going to be extremely transparent, like I have been from the very beginning. I've made $17,000 on YouTube. I've been making videos almost 5 years now.
So I went ahead and tried to figure out what his yearly income is from YouTube, right? So if he's making $17,000, when you hear that number, you go, wow, $17,000 on YouTube. That fucking sounds great. But he also said this has been over the course of 5 years, John. Years, right? So I don't know, what's 17,000 divided by 5? $3,400 is what it is, you know what I mean? So he's making $3,400 a year on YouTube. Now that sounds bad, right? I mean, look, when YouTube pays me my $100 a month, if I'm lucky enough to even get that far with ad revenue, because that's the lowest they'll pay out is $100 a month, I'm happy. It's like, oh shit, I got an extra $100 for just doing shit I would have done for free. To me, that's a bonus. To Sticky Goose, that's not enough, right? He's looking at this as a business, as dollars and cents. I'm doing YouTube because I want to be a big deal in YouTube, and I want, YouTube money, enough to live off of. Well, $17,000 in 5 years at $3,400 a year, obviously is not enough to live off of. I mean, the way that the prices are now, I don't even know if you could pay your monthly bills with that, So from that perspective, I get it. But that just tells me that he doesn't really have a love and a passion for comics or YouTube, because as I said, I've been doing this now since YouTube since 2010. And it's only been the past year where we've been monetized and able to even make pennies on the dollar for the ads that run on our videos. And like I said, when I get that $100 monthly from YouTube, I'm happy because it's extra money that's a bonus. I didn't count on it, and I certainly wasn't sweating to make it. Even doing a video like this may earn me, if I'm lucky, $3 to $5, depending on how many of you come and watch this. But it's Sticky Goose, and I'm hoping for that Sticky Goose effect. So at the very least, I'm kind of hoping to make $5 or $6, as I get about $3 per 1,000 views on a video. That's sort of like your entry level into this, right? You get about $3 per 1,000 views on a video. So I mean, it's quite simply, easy to do the math. I mean, fuck, if you want to make just $15 from a video, you're gonna have to have like 5,000 views. I don't think I have a video on my list that has 5,000 views. I know I got a couple that have come kind of close, but that's about it, So let's see what else Sticky Goose here, the sticky one, has to say.
Coming up on about 500 videos. And to be honest with you, I would pay $17,000 to have never done this, or to have never known about this, or to ever have gotten into this. I would.
I would have paid $17,000 if I could take this all back and never be involved. Yeah, you know what? I believe you. I believe you, and I'll tell you why. Because if you're going to look at your time and effort and your mental stability versus the small amount of cash that we're making, you're making, I'm making, and you go, you know what? There's better uses of my time than fighting with Spurgs over comics on the fucking internet. Right? There really is. Like, it took me years, John, years to come to this epiphany myself, which is why we don't do very many live streams anymore. Because quite frankly, I can just do a video, have my say, and the only way that anyone can argue back with me is through the comments. And very rarely am I too concerned about what YouTube comments. You know what I mean? If they're good, I'll like them. I may even interact with them. But for the most part, they just, yeah, sound off. I don't give a shit, right? But Sticky Goose, he takes a lot of this to heart, and I think he's just tired of being the internet enemy of the comic book world, and I get that. No one being hated for a little while, yeah, it can make you some quick cash. You can get a little bit of buzz. It goes back to that old Eric Bischoff line, way back in WCW, where controversy creates cash, and it can for a little bit. But at what price? Is it worth your sanity, your emotional health? Is it worth your soul? Right? We're only 56 seconds into this, and already we're sort of diving deep. Let's see what else this man has to say.
Pay that money to never do this, because I can honestly say this has not made my life better in any way. It has actually made my life worse in a lot of ways.
And I believe that too, right? People get sucked into this hobby. And by hobby, I'm not even talking about the comic book hobby. That comes secondary. They get sucked into this YouTube hobby. Maybe they like comic books and they start watching comic book YouTubers. And they go, you know what? I got a computer or a phone. I got a mic and a camera. I got comic books. I can do this too. And they start making comic book videos. They start doing haul videos. They start talking about CGC and speculation and all this, right? But what they end up doing also is spending more money on comic books so that they have something new to show or something new to talk about for content. So they're spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on books just so they can show them off on YouTube and make 34 cents off of ad revenue. Right? So yeah, I'm sure this has cost you a lot, not even just mentally or emotionally, Goose, but financially, just so you can keep up with the fucking Joneses. Why? Let's continue on.
It has put this cloud over my thinking, over my head, for, at this point, years. And I'm tired of doing it. It's just not worth doing this. When I got into doing this, I wanted to make it. Sticky Goose was always supposed to be about me. I mean, it was supposed to have been, I was the star of the show, and this was my outlet to kind of, flex my theatrical muscle, scratch this itch of this part of my life that I felt like I was missing. Like, I felt like this was an outlet, an opportunity to kind of perform in a theatrical sense and kind of find a voice and find an audience. And I definitely did that. but the audience that I found was not the audience that I thought I would find.
My first question to you would be, what did you think you were going to find when you put yourself out on the internet? And I don't mean you make a hot take on Facebook or Twitter. I mean, when you actually put yourself on the internet like this, you're on camera, you're dealing with strangers, your face is shown. People start digging into you, bro. They, especially if you start saying things that they don't like. And guess what? Not everyone agrees on the same things, right? So it doesn't matter if I say Sticky Goose is a cool guy, I'm going to have 50 people come in the comments and tell me why you're not. If I say Sticky Goose is a piece of shit, I'm probably going to have 50 people coming into my comments and telling me why I'm wrong, right? There is no way to please everyone, and nor should you try. You're wasting your time. And if you thought you were going to come on here and be some beloved comic book star, like I said, you want to be the next Comic Tom 101, Comic Tom 101. You're not. What you became was not a baby face. You didn't become a comic book hero. You became a comic book villain. You became a heel. In WWE, that means the bad guy, So you have two choices, right? Three choices. And you've chosen the third one. Your first choice was try to repair image, which you have tried to do unsuccessfully. The second choice is play the heel part and, cash in and just do it and understand that you're doing it as a character. Maybe even put a disclaimer at the front of your videos that this is kayfabe, don't take it too seriously. Or you can do what you're doing right now, and that is make your I'm quitting YouTube video. And guess what? I've made a couple in the past myself, and I'm not entirely convinced that you are actually quitting, but I'm going to take you at your word for now and assume that this is where you are in life. And I'm also going to tell you that this is a smart choice. Let me continue on.
The audience I found was this niche comic book community thing that is just angry trolls that are disgruntled, probably miserable in their life, and they came to me, and I brought that all on myself.
Well, you're wrong. I mean, there might be a little bit of truth to that for sure. I mean, there are trolls out there, don't get me wrong. But the reason why someone like me will cover someone like you in a manner as that I'm doing is because you're a controversial figure and you're news and people want to hear about you. And so we're going to cover you, right? I mean, most people are. This is what happens when you put yourself in the public spotlight is you put yourself in this position. If you never want someone like me to EFAP you or to make a video and talk about you, whether it's good or bad, then the best way to avoid all that is not to be heard or seen, But the minute you decide that, pretend it this way, there's a sea of blue dots. And all these blue dots, they go to the comic book shop, they're doing their thing, but they don't go on YouTube. They're not out there spouting their opinions or giving hot takes. They're just living their lives. So in the sea of blue, you decided to be a dot of red. Okay. So instead of just, being the casual consumer of comics and enjoying geeky things in life, you put yourself out there into the public spotlight with very public, opinions, very opinionated person for entertainment, right? Watching YouTube is just the same as watching television at this point, only it's a lot more interactive. It's like bad reality TV. You put yourself out on bad reality TV and you get bad reality comments. It's fucking just the way it goes, man,
With the path that I chose. The straw that broke the camel's back on this has been this comic capsule thing. If those of you watching this, you can go back and watch those videos. It was just, in the past, some of the things that I have done are justifiable. People getting upset, people getting angry. When I've gone into a comic shop filming without asking permission, when I've taking shots at comic book YouTubers, insulting them, insulting the way they do things, messing with people's business. This comment capsule thing was different. It was not intended to be a money grab, a cash grab. This was like me finding a product and me sharing it with the community, with my viewers. And when the product was not what I thought it would be, instead of viewers saying, you know, that's on them, that's their bad product, it still it turned on me in a sense that you deserve to suffer, you deserve to have bad things happen to you. This is somehow your fault. And I understood it from the aspect of somebody buying the capsule based on my recommendation, but at the same time, like, there was nothing insidious about that. There was nothing disingenuous about that. I am literally so done with reading this trash, being a part of this community. I just don't want to be a part of this anymore. This repeating cycle of whatever this is, this YouTube game is, I'm just so over this. I'm done with it.
So the YouTube game is money, control, clout, and power. MCCP. Money, control, clout, and power. That's what everyone seeks on YouTube. They are seeking money, they are seeking clout, they're seeking control, and they're seeking power. In many ways that those can manifest. That's what it is.
I should have quit a long time ago. I should have quit, you know, after the whole Tom thing. That should have been my step out the door. But my ego couldn't let that be it. That was like not, it felt like it was not going out on my own terms.
And you would be right on that. And I'm glad you didn't just quit then, because it would have made you, you know, look bad. Not that you would have cared, because if you quit, you're quit. You're done, right? Like if I ever decide to quit YouTube or quit making comic books, it's not going to be for a 3-week break, right? I'm fucking done. You know what I mean? The day that I decide that Nyobi is no longer a thing for me, comic books in general probably won't be a thing for me. I'll always have a little bit of nostalgia love for it, but at 50 years old, you know, it's time to fucking move on, right? But as long as I'm making money doing what I'm doing, I'm going to continue to do it. But if the time comes, and it very well may happen, where Nyobi's no longer viable for me as a way to make money, I'm not enjoying it anymore. It becomes too stressful, too expensive. Like we have these 25% tariffs coming to Canada from Donald Trump, which means I got to find a different printer because I'm not paying an extra 25% on imported goods, you know, like export, import, not fucking doing it, right? Things are expensive enough. I can barely stay afloat as it is. An extra 25% cripples us. It will kill us. So I'm going to find a Canadian printer. I will do what I can do, what I have to do to survive. And if that means cutting down variant covers, we'll do that. If that means, you know, fuck, if I had to go back to black and white to save money on color, I will do that. You know, whatever we got to do to stay alive. But my heart's in the game. Some people's hearts aren't in the game. Some people don't have a passion for this. And you can tell that when times get tough for people, that's when you know who has the passion, because people without passion are the ones that will be the first to give up, and people with passion will fight until the bitter end. They may not win, but they'll fight. They may even fight from beyond the grave. Who knows? Let's listen to more.
This feels like I'm going out on my own terms. When I look back on the videos I've made and the body of work that I've created, I can honestly say I'm proud of the improvement of the quality of the videos. I'm proud of my improvement in how I've delivered them. You know, my specifically like my delivery. You know, in the videos, that is all improved. But the passion for this has been totally destroyed by doing this.
It's funny that he talks about passion right after I brought it up. And that's because it's easy to see. You know, when I look at this guy and many others have, what we don't see, especially me as a comic book creator, right? What I don't see in you is really a passion for this. What I see is a guy who got a collection from his dad, learned a little bit about it, thought he can make some money, make a YouTube personality out of it. You know, you were looking to become some sort of quasi internet celebrity comic book guru guy. I don't know what, you know, exactly what was in your head. I can only take guesses, but that's kind of the first guess that comes to mind. And it didn't really pan out for you, you know. And you know, you're getting booed, in the cyber world, like Hulk Hogan got booed when he showed up at Monday Night Raw or on Netflix, you know. Sometimes, you know, being embarrassed sucks. And you've been embarrassed a few times. Fuck, I've been embarrassed a few times. You know what I mean? There are times when, you know, like you go through this internet sludge fest and you're just like, fuck, man. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I fighting with a fat guy who likes pies and makes comic books about frogs? And how does that fucking benefit me in any way whatsoever? And the fact of the matter is, we're not doing any favors for comics by constantly just making comic books look like the worst reality TV show that's ever been made, right? You know, comic books are facing a lot of problems right now. You know, namely Diamond, right? Small press publishers like the one I was with, not with anymore, Antarctic Press, no longer has distribution in the shops. And that's going to be the case for many publishers. In fact, if you're interested about hearing more on that, check out the video that's going to follow this one because I am going to cover it. So, but there's also the decline of comic book stores. There are, you know, more closing than are opening. You know, I'm listening to these comic book guys, you know, these LCS owners who talk about they don't want to sell new comics anymore because for them that doesn't make any money. And I get it from a business point, right? But from a comic book lover's point, it really disappoints me because without new comics coming in every Wednesday, this hobby is going to die, right? You know, like to me, if you really love comic books, you should be out every Wednesday at least buying one comic. You know, if you can afford it, buy a comic book every comic book Wednesday, even if it's just one. Because if everyone did that, we could keep this industry alive. But if you're only interested in buying Amazing Spider-Man and Fantastic Four back issues because you got a good deal and you can make, you know, a third or half of your money back on selling these things, then that's not a passion for comics. That's a passion for selling comics. And there's a difference, right? If your passion is just to move these things to make money, then you don't have a passion for the medium and the art itself. You have a passion for fucking green dollaroos, you know? I have a passion for comics, right? I have made the last decade of my life solely around this hobby. And before then, I enjoyed it. You know, before I was making comics and making videos, I still love collecting comics, buying comics. I was into it, trying to draw comics, writing comics now currently. It is in my blood, right? You know, you can listen to a guy like me and you can tell just by the sound of my voice, just by the way I speak, how much I love comic books. I don't hear that with you. You're right. You don't have the passion for it. And if you did, it is gone.
The comic books, I mean, I love reading my comic books. Like my collected edition stuff, I absolutely love reading it. And I feel like this has taken away from that to the point where I have such animosity or such hatred for the hobby in a lot of ways because of this, that it's ruined that. I've thought, you know, well, maybe I just need to switch paces and go a different direction, or, you know, start talking about something I'm passionate about. But this is what happens to all of you that want to think about doing this, or you are doing this. It whittles away at you, because this becomes kind of job-like in a way where you either are buying the stuff to show the people so that you continue to have the content, or
bingo. Remember what I said at the start of this video? A lot of guys get into this and they end up spending a lot more money trying to be a YouTube star than they're ever going to make. They come out here, they buy blue chip and big boy fucking comic books. They think that, by showing them off, they're going to get some sort of status within the collector world. They're going to get a bunch of subscribers, and people are going to want to listen to their input and takes and advice. And the truth of the matter is, you're trying to do this in a hobby that's fucking dying. No one cares anymore. Let's continue on.
You're having a hot take on something to be interesting, or you're trying to find the next juicy gossip. I mean, it doesn't. Drama comes in different forms. Just because you have drama and you have a written statement by a company doesn't mean that you're not also making drama. A lot of creators are on their high horse thinking that they're better, or they're not engaging in that type of content, when in reality they just are. They're just doing it in a different manner that is less abrasive than me. I have only been honest from the very beginning with my thoughts, whether or not you think they're crazy or they're...
I don't think you've been honest about a variety of things. I think you've actually been very disingenuous with a lot of videos and takes that you have made in the purpose of generating heat. By heat, I mean, boos. Like, you go to WWE, right? And you see Logan Paul, and he gets heat because no one likes Logan Paul. He gets booed, out of the building. But it's the kind of heat that still sells tickets, right? Well, what do I mean by that? If booing Logan Paul, how does that sell tickets? Well, it sells tickets when the babyface, say like Cody Rhodes, comes up and beats up Logan Paul in front of a crowd of 30,000 people, and everyone goes nuts because they want to see the bad guy lose. You essentially are the Logan Paul. Not even. You're not Logan Paul comics. God forbid I ever fucking do that to Logan Paul. You're just a wannabe social media influencer that thought comic books was going to be your way in. I mean, and you realize that you're just a hated villain, and basically the subject for everyone else to sort of cover, like I am right now. I was going to say, poke and make fun of you, but I'm not even doing that at this point, Goose. I'm just doing this video to sort of educate others what this sort of path leads to, and how it can be hard on the head, and how it can be depressing, and how it can be frustrating, and how it can be fun, though, all at the same time, right? There is good and bad with everything. Let's continue on.
Bad takes or whatever else you say in the comments. These are my opinions. These are my thoughts. I mean, I have only ever been honest from the very beginning, and there have been several people that have been watching me from the beginning, and they knew that eventually my honesty, my transparency towards how I think about content creators and the hobby, that they would eventually crucify me, and that has been what's happened. Not playing the victim here. Not playing the victim. That has been one of the constant things that has been said about me. But this rhetoric in the comments and the people making videos, it takes something away from you. It takes something from your soul. I don't need this in my life. $17,000. I mean, that's a month's work.
If you done this for the money, you're right. You don't need this, right? If I I'm only doing YouTube to get ad revenue or super chats, I would have quit fucking the moment I began, because I know then what I know now, and what I'll know 5 years from now is that there is no real money in this unless if you can gain thousands. And I don't mean 13,000 like you have. I mean 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 subscribers where your videos are getting like 50 to 100,000 views, if not more. That's where the money is. That's when you can quit the job and kick your feet up, right? And you're right. To do this at any kind of real level is a job. It involves, recording the videos. It involves editing the videos and making graphics and studying the algorithm and learning how to craft thumbnails and knowing when to post and who to post and what content to make and what is engaging and what isn't. It is a fucking job, man. For me, I would love for it to be a part-time job. If I could make $500 to $1,000 a month on YouTube, then I would call it a part-time job. Right now, I'm lucky if I make $100 a month on YouTube. And there's some months where I don't even make it. And in that money, let's say I make $80. That's all my ads got for me in that month on YouTube. I don't even get that $80. That $80 will be tacked on the next month because YouTube doesn't pay out unless it's $100, right? So if I was to base my time on YouTube based off of the money I make off of YouTube, yeah, I would have quit. If that's the only reason why you're here, and it sounds like it is because you're bringing up the money for a second time, then yes, you need to quit. And we'll see what else you say before I comment any further.
Literally everything that I've done, all this effort, all this time that I've put into this comes down to a month's work at my job. And I just this is just, I'm just so done with it. I'm done making these videos. I'm done sitting in front of this camera and these lights. I mean, it was fun. It was fun for a while. It was fun to kind of get better at this, to have the success, to see the numbers going up, but it's just taken such a toll on me, and I just don't, this does not give me any kind of fulfillment anymore. When my kids get older, and I keep having these thoughts of like my kids seeing like, oh, what's this camera stuff? What's this microphone? And then obviously they're going to know what YouTube is. They're already watching YouTube, but like, and I'm like, okay, I used to do this. And it becomes, how I talked about my motocross life, where it's like, this was part of my life, and then it's just not anymore. And they ask about it, and then, how do I approach that? I don't know. It's just sad.
Well, it's not hard. You say, you know what? For a time being, I was collecting comic books, and a lot of people were making videos about comic books, and I did that for a while. I mean, I don't understand how hard that is to explain to your kids. Fuck.
Sad. It's just sad that this is how it went. This is how it ends. I just tired of it. Don't want to do it anymore. I appreciate everybody watching and clicking through the ads, and the people that stuck with me, and the likes and the dislikes and the good comments and the hateful comments. Everybody that did something, I appreciate it, but this does not give me any fulfillment anymore. I know a lot of people are probably rejoicing and you got what you wanted, but I'm done with this. I appreciate everybody watching, and I'll leave the videos up so they're there. Internet permanency, right? They're
wrong. I did a lot of videos back in the day. A lot of them you can't even find anymore because I deleted the channel and no one had really EFAP'd those or uploaded those. If you want this to disappear, Goose, you're right. There are going to be some videos that are going to remain. But the longer that time goes by, the more that sort of stuff just sort of gets deleted and deteriorated and eventually does disappear, Maybe, 10 years from now, there might be a few videos of Sticky Goose out there somewhere. Like if I don't delete my channel, maybe it will still exist. But the fact of me doing YouTube 10 years from now is probably very unlikely as well, I'm in it for the time being because I use YouTube as a way to advertise my comic book, right? Even if it doesn't bring me money in directly, it can and does have the potential to bring me in money indirectly by talking about my comic books, whether it's live or as I'm doing right now or at the end of the video when we put in our ads. People are seeing them, and that does translate to sales. It doesn't mean we're rolling in cash, but there have been people who've seen that ad at the back of the video and decide to click on the eBay page or jump over to Teespring or come over to our drive-through comics digital section and check out Nyobi in a variety of ways. If I didn't have the comic book and YouTube, doesn't make me money, which it really isn't, then I probably wouldn't do it either, right? I would just watch, I would have a YouTube account just so I can comment and things of that nature and, have a playlist, but I wouldn't be making videos if I wasn't doing the comic book anymore, because I too like a peaceful life, and there's nothing peaceful about arguing with fucking spurgs on the internet. There just isn't. You got like a couple seconds left. Let's see how you end this.
They'll be there forever, but I'm done. Thank you guys for watching, and take care.
So, I've watched these videos a few times, where people complain about, just how hard it is to navigate these waters. They'll try it out for a year, 2 years, maybe they get 4 or 5 in like the Goose. And then they'll quit, They'll walk away, they're done. Because doing things like this for a lot of these cats is a fad, right? Oh, this looks fun. I'm going to try this out. And when they realize they're not going to go as far in this hobby as they thought they were going to go, and trust me, everyone thinks they're the best. I think I'm the fucking best. I know I'm not, but in my head, I think I am. Because that's just the way you got to be. You got to have a little bit of an ego, right? But sometimes that ego gets crushed. Sometimes that ego has to be humbled. It's like the Iron Sheik. I will humble you, Hulk Hogan, right? And you get humbled, and some people can't handle it. I've been humbled a few times, and not want to show my face around. But I always end up coming back, and in greater numbers. But I get it, man. This isn't for everyone. And I think it's not YouTube that's the problem, per se, because YouTube is stronger than ever. But comic books is the problem, where comic books have not been strong. In fact, comic books have never been weaker in the sense of the amount of people buying, diamond shutting down, prices going down, the quick cash grabs, overly expensive variants, overly expensive whatnot exclusives and things of that nature. And the hobbies really turn into mystery grab bags and things of that nature. So, we're seeing the end of a media format. It's like, being alive when the 8-tracks phased out to cassette tapes, and cassette tapes phased out to CDs, and CDs phased out to MP3s, and MP3s phased out to just streaming services for your music. I have about 8 gigs of MP3s on my computer, but I rarely dive into it now because I just listen to my music on YouTube. I put together a playlist, and even if I don't single-handedly select the songs I listen to, which in most cases I do, YouTube, is smart enough to go, we'll just keep shit playing, and here's, things that are, relative to what you're listening to, much like a Spotify would do. And I don't, want Spotify. I don't want to pay for Spotify. I know there's a free version of it, but YouTube is free, and I could just get what I want. There hasn't been a piece of music I have searched for that I could not find on YouTube, right? And it's like watching TV. If I wasn't living with family, there wouldn't be cable in this house because I don't watch it, right? I can watch everything I want to see via the internet, and mostly for free. I pay $7.99 for Netflix, and even that might go away soon, just because I know other ways I can find this stuff. And it's the same way with reading comics, by the way. If you want to talk about, just going into the comic creation side of things just for a second here, going digital, which is a big talk of the town, go digital, and I'll just read your shit for free. We offer digital too, and I expect people to do that. I expect people to pirate Nyobi and, throw it up on a comic book torrent site or whatever the case may be. And that, there are people who are going to want to check it out, but not want to pay the money. You know, it's like when I watched Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. You know, I saw that the night before it came out, and it was a DVD screener quality. I saw it for free. It was amazing, you know. Got to see it the night before many other people, and I got to watch it in high quality on my own computer. So I wouldn't put too much faith in the digital first aspect, because a lot of people are just going to pirate it. And there's nothing you can do to really stop that, right? And, you know, the hope is, well, if they pirate it, they like it, they'll buy it. That's a fairy tale we tell ourselves. No, chances are they'll pirate it, they'll read it, watch it, consume it, whatever. And then they're going to move on to the next fucking free thing they can pirate, watch, and consume, right? If I was Sticky Goose, so just to wrap this up, put a little bow on this. I would, if you're serious about quitting, then quit, right? Don't leave this open-ended. I know why you want to leave the YouTube channel up, because it's going to collect a few more dollars, because the videos, as long as people continue to watch them, they'll continue to give you a little bit of money every month. But if you really are done, the passion really is gone, this really is a headache, you know, this is a problem, you know, then you need to end the problem. And the best way to do that, bro, is not put the videos on private or unlist it, or even delete them. You know, at this point, you delete the channel. You wipe it off. As far as, you know, what's out there existing beyond that, there's nothing you can do to control that anyway. But eventually people will delete their channels too, or, you know, they'll delete videos, or, you know, something will happen. You know, shit goes away, man. So I wouldn't worry too much about that, Goose, you know, about the permanency of the internet. Yes, while that's true in some aspects, I mean, you're just not that popular enough for people to really archive your stuff to any real great degree. So I wouldn't worry about it. With that being said, though, we are going to bounce. Stay tuned for the next video when we talk more about small press publishing and the downfalls that it's caused through Diamond bankruptcy. That video is coming up next. And maybe, you know, we do go live tonight, but it won't be for comic books. I want to plan, you know, finishing the game Stellar Blade. Guys, this is LP. It's been a wild ride, man. This comic book journey has been a wild ride. It's going to get more wild as we move forward. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can keep up with everything, all the crazy shenanigans that are going on in this crazy comic book world. As long as I'm doing YouTube, I will continue to cover it. I will continue to push Nyobi. I will continue to push Savage Sin. And in fact, I'm going to continue to push it right now. And just who is today's sponsor? Well, it's me, Austin. It's been me all along. That's right. I am my own sponsor. We do our own business, and we do it differently here. And one of the things I would like to show to you here today is our eBay page. If you're looking for those Nyobi variants you may have missed in the past, maybe you're missing out on a few back issues. Maybe you never read Savage Sin. Maybe you're a fan of Paul Green and you never got his cover the first time around, or a John Stinsman, or a Joel Souza, or a Randy Green, or a Justin Hunt, or a Greg Bo Watson, and the list goes on. Jamie Tyndall. Here it is, guys. Chris Enoch, R.B. White. It's all here. Trade paperbacks, single issue, Savage Sin, Nyobi Origins, Nyobi Outbreak, Nyobi Birthright. It's all here for you to catch up on. And while you're doing that, why not look good while you do it? Come to the Nyobi Spring Store. The links there will be in the chat. You guys can get something for the women, something for yourself, maybe a nice coffee mug, maybe a nice hoodie. How about an awesome, you know, sweatshirt, poster, or wall flag? I'm going to be adding new stuff to this store as well. So come and get what's here. Come and get it while it's hot. Nyobi Teespring Store, Nyobi the eBay store, and stay tuned for more news coming soon. Peace.